All right, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another guest expert session by MyWeb Audit. My name is Clifford Almeida. I'm the founder here at MyWeb Audit. And today we're joined by Olivier Lambert, the legend in person. He is the CEO of Lead Lion and Tactic Media, which is a top-notch digital marketing agency in Canada. Olivier has developed a proven outbound process that is centered around cold email. He's done a lot of cold calling as well. And ultimately, he's continued to refine his processes while working with agencies and companies all around the world. Today, he'll be focusing on what is working in outbound marketing and not things that people speak about that happened yesterday. Olivier, it's great to have you on here today. Welcome. We've been looking forward to this. I know there's a lot of people that have shared a lot of excitement about this topic. I know you're going to be keeping it real, sharing a lot of actionable strategies. Really looking forward to that. Would you mind by starting out and letting our attendees know a little bit about why you think cold email could work for them in 2019?
Sure. So hi, everyone. Really happy to be here. Thanks, Cliff, for having me. I think it's a privilege to be in front of so many web agency owners. So thanks a lot for your time, everyone. Why email outreach can work, especially for MyWeb Audit users. I think you guys have a perfect tool for that. The funnel I'll share today, of course, include MyWeb Audit. The tools you guys got there is great. So it'll be very actionable there. Why it can work, it always depends on the copywriting you guys do. You know, email outreach can be done in a good way, but it can be really messed up if you guys don't know what you do. So today, hopefully I can help you out with that and get a great funnel in your business and close deals using MyWeb Audit.
Awesome, Olivier. Well, go ahead and get started. I know you have a ton of slides and a lot to cover. Everyone, feel free to add your questions in the comments. Please mark it as add to Q&A and we'll address it at the end.
Cool. So you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
I think you have to click it maybe.
Oh, actually, you know what? I can't see your screen. I can see you. I think you might have to go to screen and screen share.
Okay, good. Start sharing screen. Share. Okay, cool. So like this, I guess you see my slides.
I do. Perfect. We're good now.
Cool. So we'll go full screen. I won't do like John last time. All right. Good. So today, as expected, we're going to talk about cold email outreach that works to improve your result. We're going to talk about the funnel. I'll do the complete walkthrough journey with this, the best practices, list building. So basically, we will cover every topic I think it's important. So first off, I already presented myself, and Cliff did. So I'm going to go through this real quick. The part that interests us today is to generate leads and conversation through outbound marketing. So we're going to talk about email outreach or cold email, you know, tomato. It's pretty much the same thing. Wikipedia have a great definition for that. A cold email is an unsolicited email that is sent to a receiver without prior contact. It could also be defined as the email equivalent of cold calling. I think that's true. It's not spam. However, if certain steps are not followed, it can be treated as spam by spam filters. The last sentence is pretty cool. Cold email is a personalized one-on-one message targeted at a specific individual. It aims to get into a business conversation rather than promote a product or a service to the masses. So we're going to cover that later on. 4 facts about email outreach. So like the Wikipedia definition, email outreach doesn't lead to sales right away. It's really just the first step of your process. It's to start a conversation. It's to establish a relationship with the recipients and not sales right off the bat. So that's why I'm saying that except for home runs, it takes time. It's not instant. You have to have a good sales process to go to the sales. So it's not magic. It doesn't happen overnight. And of course, you need to build trust through the process. So the email outreach is really step 1 of your sales process. It's not the end. So you're not in for an easy ride. Jake Jorgovan in his blog post has a great graphic I'm showing you here. If the leads come from a referral, the sales process is really different. It's like, hey, you did this for my friend. I think I like it. I would love to have that in my business. Let's make a call, and boom, you have a sell. You know, the trust is built through a referral. An inbound lead People get on your website, consume your content, see the blog, see the testimonial, see the beautiful clients list you got there, send you a message, you reply back, and boom, you have a sale. Outbound's different. You guys pop out of nowhere. It's like, look, here I am. I'm reaching out to you. Here's the message I have to you. Here's some more information. All right, I'll follow up 3 months later. We have a first phone call. You guys go through my content, my referral, my testimonial, follow up again, another call. It goes on for a while, and then boom, you have a sell. It can go on for a year, even 2 sometimes, because people might not be ready right now, but it might be ready later on. We closed a deal with Tactic Media yesterday, and I went to our CRM and noticed we first got contact with them in September 2018, and we've closed them yesterday. So it's about 7 months process for that client. So it's not instant, but leads that come from referral or inbound can be closed much faster because they have a needs.
And Olivier, that's such an important point. I get a lot of people, not a lot, but I get a few people say like, hey, Cliff, I tried this, it didn't work, right? So I ask and they're like, yeah, we sent out 20 emails. How many follow-ups did you do? None, right? And so I think this is so important. And I think as you continue on to the slide deck, you'll explain exactly why. So just remember, guys, that the outbound lead process, the amazing part about it is that you can build a process, refine it, and then the numbers. And Olivier will be covering that. But just remember, it's not a, hey, I'm going to draft an email, find a template, send it out, and ultimately make a sale.
Yeah, exactly. It's a longer process. For me, when I started doing that, it took me 3 months to get the first sell. But I noticed that the leads that was coming in were interesting. They were keen to learn more. Really similar to what I was getting with cold call, except I was making no more cold call, just exploratory meeting or first call, So very important to have a sales process, a solid one that follow that email. And I'm going to talk about follow-up email later on, but you're going to get much more replies on the second email and the third one and the fourth one than you do on the first one. If I get 5% reply rate on my first email, I'm going to get 10 on the second and about the same on the third one. So even though you do email outreach with single email, don't forget to reply, even though it's not automated. Do follow up. So 4 rules of email outreach. You guys have to remember you're talking to a human. Sometimes, for some reason, when we craft cold email, we use like a copywriting that we use on websites, or it just sounds weird. So we have to sound like a human because a human's going to read your email, and the goal is to get him to reply. So don't write like a robot. Write like a human, and the more personalization you got in your email, the more keen your recipients might be willing to reply. So don't be salesy in your email. People hate to be pitched. So we're going to cover some copywriting later. So don't be salesy in your email. Make it personal. Send under your name, not your company name. So when it's in my inbox, the from has to be my name, not Lead Lion. It's going to be Olivier Lambert or Olivier from Lead Lion, but I would say your name. You try to make it as personal as possible. And like I said earlier, the secret is in the follow-up. It's a classic saying in sales, but it's true, especially with email outreach. So it's important to have a CRM to keep your follow-up task up to date and make sure you don't miss on any of them. All right. First, deliverability. Really important to end in the inbox. If you make all these efforts just to land in the spam folder, it's a sad story. So I'm going to cover a little bit of that. First off, you have to warm up your domain. You have to, first of all, you're going to use a different domain. You're not going to use, for instance, my everyday email is olambert@leadlion.co. My cold email goes out from olambert@lead-lion.co. So use a different domain. Why? Because if things go sideways or you guys trigger spam filter, at least you won't affect your everyday domain. So start with a new domain. So to do so, you have to warm it up. So for 2 weeks, you send email to your friends, you send email to anyone. Lemlist has a feature for that. You basically send email back and forth just to show Google you're sending normal email and not email to sell stuff. Also, you have to set your SPF, your DKIM, your MX record. So those are like the sender policy framework, the domain keys, identified email, and mail exchange records. Basically, it's technical stuff that will help you whitelist your domain to other email servers. It tells you who you are and to which domain and email server you're connected with. So basically do that. You can find people on Upwork to do that in 10 minutes, real quick. But it's very important if you want to get whitelisted by other email servers. Use separate domains. So I talked about that one earlier. And only send to valid emails. When you build your list, you're going to get emails that are verified, others that are not, or catch-all, which means that servers just get them all, even though you're doing a mistake in it. So only send to valid emails to have your bounce rate as low as possible. Over 10% is a lot, and going to get you in trouble with spam filter. So basically, you're going to see your open rate go low, and you won't really know why. So that's one reason. For mistakes in email outreach. So now we have finished talk about deliverability, but the email outreach mistakes I see the most often is don't let me know them. So often we end our email saying, let me know if it interests you. Let me know when you have some time to call. Let me know, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. People don't want to have the ball in their court. Just give them what they have to do. Have a clear next interaction or a clear call to action for the next step. So don't let me know them. Always be clear on the next interaction. So make sure they understand what's the next step. So you guys own the process. You guys decide what's next and make sure they know it's easy for them to follow it. In your email, don't ask too many questions. Make it easy for them to answer. Don't confuse them with many questions. And when they finish your email, they're like, oh, so what does guy want? What am I supposed to reply to this? It has to be a clear call to action. And avoid spelling or grammar mistakes. It will make you look silly and incompetent, even though it can be easy. So guys, make sure to double check yourself and use Grammarly, tools like that. Or just like me, I'm a French Canadian guy, and I have to double check my English all the time. So very important to do. Email automation tools to send your emails. Some I use Mailshake, I use Lemlist, I use PersistIQ. The first two were on AppSumo. Hopefully you guys bought them. There was also AutoClose that was there once. There's a Snowvio that was here recently. So I like those three. There's also Woodpecker, Reply.io, Replyify, all great tools. Basically all do the same, mix-max. But I would definitely use one of those three. I got nothing to do with them, but really three good interface to do cold email. So the funnel we're going to talk today. Here's what it looks like. So we're going to cover all of that. So as you can see on the left, you have the list building. You have the first sequence and all that. I'm going to cover each step of them. And then you guys can apply that. So first of all, the first step is the list building. So narrow your search queues as much as possible for personalization purpose. Target the right person. The trick I'm going to give you today is a lot linked with a few tools as LinkedIn and some others. So when I say narrow your search queue in LinkedIn, make sure your search queue is as narrow as possible for personalization purpose. The more narrow you are, the more personalized your email is going to be. One cool thing about email outreach is you have the right to choose with who you work. So if I want to work with a web agency, I'm going to target them. I'm not going to go too wide. So you guys have the right to choose who you're sending emails to. So put some times into your list building. Make sure you target the right person. You pre-qualify them because the replies you're going to get are going to be from those companies. Clean your list. So take off all the MBA, the Inc. Because if I receive an email that says, hey, Olivier MBA, I don't have an MBA, by the way, but hey, Olivier MBA, I looked at the Solution Tech Media Inc. website. You know, it doesn't sound personal. It sounds like a CSV. So make sure to take all that out your CSV before uploading it to your email automation tool. Unsubscribe your clients at the source. So everyone you don't want to reach out to, there's always a feature named unsubscribe or a graveyard or a do not send list, all that. Unsubscribe your client's domain to make sure they're not in the middle of your 500 email list. I'm going to avoid you weird conversation. The tools I use to build my list, Get Prospect. It's a Chrome extension, getprospect.io. Basically, it goes in LinkedIn. You do a search queue, and it extracts email. You're going to get about 30-40% email, valid email from those 1,000 list in LinkedIn. LinkedIn has 40 pages of 25 contact. So don't bother, go over that. And then you just start the bots and it's going to give you emails. Snovio was on AppSumo recently, but not their extension. Again, similar extension to Get Prospect. You have to pay for it. But it has a different way to extract email. It's going to take the company and the first name, find how their email is built over there, and do match, and then give you much more emails that you will get only using Get Prospect. So I use both on the same search queue. You need LinkedIn, you need Sales Navigator, and Sales Navigator is gonna get you 1,000 visits per day. So never more than that, because when you extract email, it does visit the profile. So if you do more than 1,000, at some point, LinkedIn's gonna flag you, and you might be banned, or you might have some problems with LinkedIn. So never extract more than 1,000 per day per account. So you can have more than one account if you want. I think Sales Navigator is probably it's $89 Canadian, so I'm guessing about 50 something, maybe US 60. I don't know. So about that monthly. Find That Lead is going to get you a lot of leads too. They have a database, Crunchbase, another one. Those database, be careful. Sometimes data can be a year old, even though they say it's new. I've just been laying there for a while. 30% of email are not valid after a year. So make sure to clean those. Find That Lead as a tools to clean. I think it's the cheapest. There's a Bread Verify that does that. There's Never Bounce, and Find That Lead does it too. So run your CSV through that before sending out. Copywriting. So don't do this. Don't do this example I'm going to show you. This one, way too long. Mistake number one in copywriting, sending way too lengthy email. People don't read that. So make sure not to do it. Again, don't be salesy in your copywriting. I said it earlier. Keep it cool, friendly. Don't sound desperate. Try to avoid words like please, can you reply to me, stuff like that. Don't sound like you're desperate. Add some yellow to their day, so be funny. Add some yellow in a way that, be like a sun in their day, be enjoyable, be fun. Talk about what matters to them. So briefly introduce yourself, but don't go crazy like this. Focus on what matters to them and how you can help. I know it's hard to avoid the I in the email, but you can use it. But use it in a way that you talk to them. Like, I'm going to help you do this. I'm going to help you cover that pain you got. So that's what I mean by talk about what matters to them. Be concise. Keep it short. Too long didn't read. 4 to 5 sentences. They don't know you yet, so don't be crazy on explaining yourself too much. Just try to start a conversation and establish a crystal clear call to action. Make it easy for them to reply. Don't goof around. Be clear about what you're looking for. Copywriting for deliverability. Avoid spam words. You can get great lists from Snovio built one with 500 over words. HubSpot has one as well. So there's word you cannot say, like cash 50% off, credit, all that. Those are words that are going to trigger spam filter. Use personalization in subject and content most as possible, because Google and other spam filter are at some point notice that you're always sending out the same email. So sometimes I do A/B tests just to modify a bit the content of my emails that goes out. And using personalization in subject and content does that. Every email is a bit different. So use company name, field, use first name, and use it in subject, basically. Use plain text as much as possible. Don't use any format. Try avoid putting words in bold. Not only it makes you sound like a robot, but also it just adds some more weight to your emails. Not weight in KB, but just it just triggers stuff. If you put images, long links, weird HTML, it's going to trigger a spam filter. Use as little link as possible. So they don't like links, especially long one. So use a link shortener. It's going to help you if you're really obligated to put a link. Try to shorten it as much as possible. All right, 4 rules of signature. So get rid of the crap. You don't have to put your email address. It's already there. No home address, except if you do a cold email in the US, the canned spam, you need to put a physical address at the bottom of your, I'm going to show it to you later on, but you have to put your physical address at the bottom of your signature. You also have to, with the can spam, if you target the US, you also have to offer a way to unsubscribe. You don't have to necessarily put an unsubscribe link, but you have to say like PS, tell me if something like that doesn't interest you. I won't write you to anymore, or something like that. You have to offer a way to opt out. So irrelevant links, images, all that stuff, you just take it off your signature. What you have to do is put a link to a targeted landing page. If you are selling pineapples, sell them pineapples and forget the rest of the food chain. What I mean by that is if I reach out to a web agency to sales leads, when they're going to click my signature, I want them to land on a page that talk about that. You guys are a web agency owner, you know all that, but make sure that you don't set them and they have to, browse your website afterwards. Add your tagline, tell them what you do, not what you are. So they don't care if you're, president, founder, XYZ. Tell them what you do. I generate leads for a web agency through outbound marketing, something like that. Social proof is welcome. If you have more followers than Kim Kardashian, might be a good time to brag about it. So put your social link there so they know when they click on your Facebook page that you have 2,000 followers or 5,000, 10,000, they're going to know you're real. So social proof, testimonials can be a good place to put a link in your signature. The signature is like a no man's land. It's a place where you can brag as much as you want and it sounds natural because it's in your signature. You haven't wrote it. It was there. It's just there. So use it. All right, back to the funnel, the opening sequence here. So that's the one people use the most, of course. It's the first one. What you're going to see more often with that sequence is an email like this. So as you can see, I've personalized my subject line. So if I write to Cliff, it's going to be Cliff and Olivier. People open that email a lot. It's very simple. Works very well as well. So hi, Cliff. I noticed that you work at My Web Audit and thought there might be an opportunity for us to join forces. I'm with Lion, and we help XYZ across Europe or wherever to understand XYZ customer to do XYZ with their sales. Am I knocking at the right door? If not, can you point me the right direction at My Web Audit? Have a great day. So what that email does, really short, tells what you do, tells what you can do for them, and ask for the right person. It's going to be important later to have that person. As you can see, in the funnel, there's get a referral. I'm going to cover that. So that's a classic email. Or you can also do the Mark Reynolds experiment. So Mark wrote a question in the Facebook group. Mark's a real great guy. I had the chance to meet him in Austin a few years ago. So hi, Mark. What I did is I wrote an email for you if you want to target the US. Here's what it looks like. So greeting, first name. I'm reaching out directly from England. I saw your company on LinkedIn, and I noticed that you were in the tech industry. I told myself, bloody blimey, brilliant. It must be Christmas, because that's exactly the industry I specialize in to generate revenue. Not only do I have a funny accent, but I also have more than a few tricks up my sleeve when it comes to generating leads. Are you the right person to talk to regarding marketing? Mark Reynolds, bloody brilliant digital marketer. So I use a similar emails to target France, because France makes fun of us because of the way we speak French. When I went there, they were telling me, hey, you speak great French for an English guy. So they make a lot of fun of our accent. So I thought maybe Mark could do the same with the US and basically adapted a bit the email for it. So that email sounds funny. It doesn't sound desperate. It sounds like Mark's a great guy, and I might be interested to talk to him to see what his tricks up his sleeve are. So that's a good first email. Then example of follow-ups that you can add to that. You can add a lot of follow-ups. Try to actually split them up from 3, 5, 7, 9, 15, 30 work days. What it does is it raises the chance that you guys fall in their inbox on the right day. Sometimes I can send out like 250 emails a day, and some guy calls me and say, hey, man, you're right. Your emails landed in my inbox at the right time. This morning, I was thinking about, rebuilding my website. And then I received your email. I believe in the stars. I believe in that stuff. I'm like, wow, if only you knew. So maybe that thing can happen on the email number 15. On the email that I've been sending on day 15. So split them up and just follow up, and you're going to get people reaching out because you land on the right day. The classy, lazy follow-up, but still effective, could look like this. You just sneak a few like that in your sequence. Could be later on. You don't have to explain yourself in every email and bring new information. Technically, you're following up to have replies to your first email. So something like that will work. Just want to touch base regarding my last email. Of course, the email thread's there. The industry is evolving so fast. I think we have a lot to talk about. Best signature. Boom. Just bumping this thread up the top of your emails as I haven't received an answer yet. I'm still looking for the person in charge of sales. Cheers. Remember them while you wrote them. They're just persistent enough, At some point, you can be a bit more persistent. Hopefully, I'm not being too persistent. Maybe just enough. Anyhow, I'm giving this another shot. Just trying to get in touch with the person or with you or the person in charge of sales. Thanks for your time. The sympathetic, where you understand they're busy. I understand that you are busy and that web marketing may not be a service you need at this exact moment. As you are surely aware, web marketing brings ABC and XYZ. When the time comes to tackle web growth at your company, please do call or email. I will be happy to discuss potential strategy. Here's my calendar link one last time. This is more a broke up email, the last one of the sequence. So you send something like that. You can also make them feel guilty a bit. Well, first name, okay, no regrets, no hard feeling. I have given this my 100%. I have to assume that you folks don't need new leads and move on. For us, it would be a pleasure to support you in your business development, but it has to be mutual. Below are my relevant contact details, and I hope you will get in touch at some point in the future. Farewell. Sound really, really sad that they haven't replied. So that's going to get, Olivier, I'm sorry, I didn't have time. It was my high season. You can call me. That get replies. So, make them feel guilty a bit. So the replies now that you have that old sequence, you're going to get a bunch of replies. You're going to get people that are going to refer you, someone, but don't give out their emails. You're going to get people that refer you to someone else with their email. You're going to reach the decision maker because your list building reach out to them. Sometimes going to ask you for more info. Sometimes going to be ready to book right now. And some other people will push you back. I'm a big hockey fan, so I use a farm club. It means someone is going to say, for instance, call me back in September. It won't be before January. So those guys have a place in your funnel. So the tools I use for that, of course, you need Chrome, Gmail, and a cool tool named Vocus.io. It's a super simple. It can be Rebump. I know people use Rebump. There's Gemelius, but I use Vocus. Let's focus on that one. So Vocus basically is a little Chrome extension. It's $5 a month for 50 follow-ups. I do every cold email and really reach 50. So Vocus for $5. What it does, it trigger snippet with a hotkey, and then you can personalize on the spot and send it out. Boom. So super effective. And use a CRM. I use SalesFlare. I use HubSpot, Pipedrive, bunch of others that we partner with, Active Campaign. But the one I prefer, to be honest, is SalesFlare because it has you can have one user and sync many inbox into it, which other CRMs don't do. If Pipedrive could do that, it would be heaven, but they don't. So SalesFlare is going to allow you to sync all your emails from day one. They go back in time and sync them all in. So when someone you replies and you have tons of leads, you basically go in SalesFlare and all the emails there, all the threads there, super easy, super efficient to follow up quickly and don't get cut out and adding data and all stuff that basically are useless at the end of the day. So what was I saying? So the tools here for the referral basically use this, that, this. So the referral sequence with no email, I send out a simple email that says this. Thank you for your kind reply. I tried to find the decision maker email, but could not find it. Do you have it by any chance? Kind regards. And then if they don't reply with the emails, you follow up automatically after 5 days. So 4 emails to get the email. If you don't get to find it, you don't care. You're there for the mass. So if ever you trigger someone every once in, 2 months, doesn't matter, going to get leads. When there is an email, at that point that you have a referral to the decision maker, then you go back to the longer sequence that you split up with 3, 5, 7, 9, 15, 30 days. And there you go. This one's going to get you 66% reply rate. So when you get a referral, good payoff. So I first time contacting you following referral from his buddy who told me you were the right person to talk to. Happy to connect. We work with this. We generate this. While our client further develop their markets. I be keen to speak with you to learn more about your company. as I think we could be a good fit for each other. How about we schedule a 15-minute call? So the fact that you name drop his colleague or his boss is very valuable. It's going to get you replies. When the guy tells you right off the bat, I'm the decision maker, he's going to tell you, for instance, I need more info. So more info, what that mean? Well, you guys going to use my web audit. So we're going to say something like, if again, you have to follow up for that with if no reply. So we work with XYZ, we help this and that. Here's a link to our service page. Here's another to our testimonial. I'd be happy to chat, learn more about what you do, as I think would be a good fit for each other. If there's anything else you need before a call, feel free to ask. Here's an audit to your website. Here's what we can do. We can name drop whatever you want. And here's my calendar link for to go. Ready to book? Then this guy wants to talk to you. Again, you can use my web audit on the first email. And then again, follow up with him. Perfect. I begin to talk about it some more to better understand your company. At this point, I will not send the audit right away because the guy's ready to talk. So get him on the phone, send him the audit if you want. But technically, he's willing to talk. So there's no need to sales at that point. So you get on the phone, you talk to him about the audit, and then you follow up to make sure he books. The demo here, again, could be used with the audit. Make a sell. I did a mistake there, not there. So let's stick on this slide. So make a sell with the demo. You can use the audit there and get your sales. So that's where you use my web audit in this funnel. When you get to the decision maker, you put it off, and then boom, you get all those tells about this website and use it to be efficient. What do you do with the leftover now? So in the list building, I told earlier you would add verified email and some that are not. Well, you can load them up in your Google Ads and Facebook audience, and then just do retargeting. It costs nothing. Nothing, almost nothing. And then you retarget them, and make sure you make good use of those leftover email. And
Olivier, if I could stop you for just a second there.
Sure.
So, hey guys, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but for my web audit users, with the new template system we've built, you could actually create a smaller version of just 10 points. So you're not giving them the full audit and actually send that out. Also, I don't know how many of y'all know, but like with Olivier and what he mentioned about retargeting, you can actually put your pixels, both Facebook or Google, on your reports through the settings. And that way, anyone who actually views it and you do these cold emails, you can continue to retarget them past the initial interaction.
Exactly. Yep. So that's one way to, just re-nurture them and try to have them on your website again. By the way, this whole sequence is going to drive a lot of traffic. I was talking about targeted traffic. People will click. They will check your website, then come back to reply or not. But they will go on your website and get your pixel and your cookie there. And then, you just pop in their web universe every now and then. So since you pre-qualified your list, you get targeted traffic on your website. Again, you can connect with them on LinkedIn. Since the way I showed you to build your list, use LinkedIn, you're going to get their LinkedIn URL. And if you use a tool like Mailshake, when you extract your recipients after the campaign, you know who has opened, who has replied, who has opened and not replied. And then you can use a tool like DuckSoup to connect with them. Connect with the one you want. Maybe you want to connect with those that has opened your emails but did not replies. And then you can drip them a campaign using DuckSoup and stuff like that. Or just watch maybe hire a company like mine or something like that to run that for you. But it's a good way to keep the conversation going. Just adding them on LinkedIn and then do a drip campaign there. You can do the retargeting, like I said. And then also the one that push you back, you're going to send them an email and invite them to subscribe to your newsletter. Awesome. Let's talk again at that time or when the time is right. Just adapt with focus what they said. In the meantime, would you like to subscribe to your newsletter? It would allow us to keep in touch, and you would also receive great marketing tips. Talk soon. I do that all the time, and 2 out of 3 will say, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then they subscribe, and they get my emails, and they might pop back later. Add them to your CRM, of course, and touch base quarterly. You can set up a auto follow-up. Mark Reynolds told me he was using close.io, close with a Z, and it tells you every quarter, hey, you haven't touched base in 3 months. It would be a right time. Use the templates, boom, touch base. Say, hey, how's doing? how you guys do. How can I help? So roar more, sell more. That's two very tough words to say for a French Canadian like me, like Mirror. Roar more, tough. So by the way, this is the end of my presentation. So if you guys want a 15-minute consultation call, just book yourself at leadlion.co/MWA. You have my calendar there. Just book a time. I'll be happy to chat with you, see how your sales process set, and see how I can help. So feel free to book yourself, and I'll be happy to chat with you guys when the time at the time you have picked. So good luck in your journey, and thank you very much for your time. Q&A, whatever you want. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Olivier, lots of great advice. For those of you who have heard what Olivier had to share, obviously, and you think there's a fit, either if you have some questions or you would like to see potentially how that you guys could collaborate on lead generation, reach out to Olivier. One of the resources both of us love, and I've shared this before, is Sujan Patel has a cold email masterclass, which is like 5-6 hours, talks about templates, best practices, goes into a lot more detail of what Olivier shared. Do it. Just some stats. Olivier and myself both were part of You Gurus, which is a mastermind and community back in 2015, same group. One of the things that stood out to me back then was Olivier had generated hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's a small agency like most of us here, and he did it by cold email and cold calling. And you know what? Everyone was like, wow, that's so great. And then when they heard his process, they were like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do it. The truth is it works. You just have to have a process and follow through on it. Olivier will answer some of our questions now, but again, remember, this is not like a silver bullet. Yogesh, you had some questions about pitching. Again, as Olivier mentioned, and I'll let him speak on this, outreach your original goal of outreach should only be to establish some sort of rapport and start the conversation, not to sell anything. Otherwise, you won't sell anything. Olivier, maybe if you could hit some of these questions. Samantha has one. I think you should be able to see them, right? On what is a good list size?
Great questions. It can always depend on who you're targeting. There's a way to do mass email outreach. So sometimes I can build lists with 800 emails into it, but sometimes I might want to reach out to certain event attendees. With Find That Leads, you can go with the company domain name and just build lists of that with their prospector tool, their bulk tool, sorry. So a good list, depending on your goals, can be very huge, or it can be very short. It can be a 30 emails campaign, and you personalize it as much as possible. If you're going after your dream clients, you might want to personalize more. So it really depends on your goal. If it's email outreach can be used to get guest appearance, guest posts. It can be to link building for your website, for your SEO. It can be for sales. There's a lot of goals. So depending on what your goals, the size can vary. So that would be my answer for that. Another question I got here from Yogesh. Olivier, how do you pitch business owner on LinkedIn when they are not in your connections? Well, that's I don't think it's possible to do. What I do is I use a duck soup, and I add 100 connection requests per day. So what you do is you do a search queue. You do a personalized message using duck soup. It's I think it's $19 per month Canadian. Not sure if you have a US dollar there, maybe 12 US. And you add 100 connection requests. About 30% of them will accept, and I start conversation from there. And when you send a personalized connection request on LinkedIn, it starts a conversation. So it's easy. Then you just go in your inbox and you keep the conversation there. How do you pitch in business? Okay, so I think it's the same questions that are not yet. Okay. Samantha, why do you prefer cold emailing instead of cold calling? Well, I do love cold call. When I feel tired, I do cold call sometimes just for the sake of it, just for fun. I'm a weird guy for that. But what cold email is going to bring you instead of cold call is going to spend your day having conversation with people that are willing to talk, with people that you have started conversation in the first place already by emails. You have established connection with them. So you're going to do relevant cold call, relevant warm call right off the bat, instead of cold calling that, you're going to spend a whole day doing 90 to 130 calls to book 4 meetings, which is cool. but it's just much more time consuming than what cold email is going to save you.
So Olivier, I have a question for you. What do you think are common pitfalls or common problems that people experience when they start with cold email that you think you could help them with, help solve right now by giving them some advice?
Well, the first part is the technical part. People might use their everyday email. They might use, they won't set their, like I said earlier, the MX record, the SPF, the DKIM, stuff like that. So those are common mistakes. They don't follow up. So, the first cold email I sent, I used, it was a base CRM. I think they've switched name now. They've got acquired by, I don't remember who. I think it's Zendesk maybe. Anyway, so they had this bulk email feature, but it was not, there were no automated follow-up. So not doing follow-up is a common mistake. The copywriting, lengthy emails, way too long emails. So the copywriting has to be well done. So those are a common mistake you're going to see when someone doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to sell way too much. He's going to sound like a robot or a website when the goal is to basically start conversation. That's the goal. The goal of the cold email is to start a conversation. You're not there to sell at that point. You have to just start a conversation. That's what people forget. They don't know the purpose of it.
Awesome. What are your thoughts? One of the things we're implementing in our campaigns for My Web Audit is personalized imagery. And Mark asked a question about adding an image. What do you think about these new apps that do personalized images? I know Lemlist is one of them. Yeah. Thoughts?
Well, it's, adding images triggers spam filter. So there's a guy that he was selling video. He sent me, he was using Lemlist, and he sent me a sequence. It was quite funny. So if you can make it to the inbox, I think you can differentiate yourself using images. But it has to be light, not really low KB images. So make sure it's not too megs, stuff like that. So I think it can be good. It's just I'm so concerned with spam filters that I don't use them, but I'm not saying it's not bad. It's not good.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, I cannot log to Facebook because I closed everything down to make sure nothing goes wrong with the presentation. But I know Mark popped a few questions there. I don't know if you have them at hand. So
yeah,
I cannot see them.
Well, Rob and Samantha had a funny one about Raptors versus Warriors. I don't know if you watch it back.
Tough one. I'm more a Montreal sports fan. I have to go with the Raptors. I think it's good for the sports in Canada, and maybe we're going to get a team in Montreal because people are really into it, even in Quebec. So I'm going to go with the Raptors for the sports more than the team itself. But it's pretty cool what's going on in Toronto right now. So go Raptors.
You're Canadian, so we won't hold that against you.
Yeah, we have to go behind the only Canadian team we have. Rob Parmenter asking, you may have already said this, but are you personalizing every first email to the contact, or do you have a general niche-based email that can be sent out to 50 contacts? I would say, if I do larger outreach, I'll definitely have a more based niche email that can be sent out to 800 contacts. So I do that all the time. I do that very often. That's why I'm saying your list building has to be very niche as much as possible so you can do that and get a lot of replies in one day. So definitely have a based email that can be sent out in a general way in a niche. But I also do super targeted campaign to 30 emails, 30 recipients, and I'll use custom field to add a sentence. So a custom field could be a whole sentence. It could be first name, it could be company name, but it could also be value. And so you can do both, but definitely both are good.
So to add to that, Rob, just the workflow with My Web Audit, a couple of things in My Web Audit in the bonus resources section. I've added entire sequence from the first one to follow-ups and variations in between. And one of the things I recommend, like a combination of using our app, would be for you to find, let's just say you worked with lawyers. So you would be able to go, I don't know if Karen's in here or not, but she works with lawyers, for example, but to find the fastest growing law firms in the country. All right. And then you already have a case study working with law firms. So you find that list of 100 of them, take them, import them into Better Leads, which is an add-on for My Web Audit that tells you, do they have slow performance? Do they have page speed problems, SEO, mobile, whatever? Find the ones that have issues, export those back out, and build an email sequence specifically to target them. So now with the first email, they're law firms, you can include your case study, and you can talk about 2 common problems, and it looks like it's completely personalized.
Got it. Torkilled Smith. Hopefully I said it right. To avoid them feeling spam, will it be better to do a first email using MailMage, Outlook, and then do a follow-up with a chosen CRM? Well, what I think you're trying to, maybe I get it right, tell me if I'm wrong, Cliff. So he's talking about exporting his contact from Outlook and use mail merge or a custom field to do follow-up with chosen CRM. Well, for instance, HubSpot with the sales starter feature, which is $50 a month, Canadian again, I think, have a sequence feature where you can send sequence with automated follow-up from people that are in your CRM, but you can do it individually, not like all over your CRM. So I would say no, I guess. I don't know. Go ahead. I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah. So Torkid, no, I would say, ultimately the tools that were listed out, whether it's Mailshake, he's wearing a Mailshake shirt there by Sujan Patel, Lemlist. There's a whole bunch of applications out there. Woodpecker, I think, is another one you'd recommend, right, Olivier?
Yep. Yeah, that's a great one.
Ultimately, all of these applications, they don't use their own email servers. You connect so whatever you use Outlook for, you use a mail server for Outlook, you would use those same tools and connect your account, whether it's G Suite or Gmail or whatever it may be. And then they already have custom merge lists. So you import in your contacts, put in some custom fields for what you need, and then leverage that process. Maybe I can do a workflow of how to do this as a setup in the future, but simply put, no, I wouldn't use mail merge and Outlook here. Again, the concept is there are tools out there that are very, very affordable that do this and were created specifically for this purpose. I would leverage those.
Well, the most of the tools will integrate with Gmail and Outlook. I like the Hotmail version of it, the Outlook. So, and even with your own emails, I think you can do that with I'm not sure how they call it, but anyway, you can pretty much sync any inbox into it, your IMAP, and then you can. I do use Chrome and the Chrome extension of Salesforce or HubSpot or Pipedrive. They all have a Chrome extension that works in Gmail. And when you have a positive answer or whatever you want, you'd like to log them into your CRM in one click, it does it.
Awesome. Well, hey, guys, we have a little under 10 minutes left with Olivier. He's been very generous with this time. Do you guys have any other questions specific to cold email, the strategy, ultimately maybe numbers and how how much time you should maybe allocate? I mean, Olivier, let's just say you're looking, I'll give you some agency stats for us, right? So maybe you can propose some timelines of investment. I usually am not looking to generate more than 2 to 3 new clients a month based on where we are. And we have a closing rate of about 35 to 40% if we can, connect with them. So ultimately, I'm looking to say, how do I get maybe 10 to 12, calls or emails where we can set up some sort of consultation strategy call? What would you recommend?
I think that to get that, maybe 10 calls, you probably need about 800 emails per month, something like that. It really varies from a territory to another one. Like in Quebec and France, it's a French part, it's a French country and French province. People are maybe less targeted. They reply a lot. In the rest of Canada, you're going to get about 35% reply rate. In the US, around 15 to 25%. If you're copywriting all that well done, you're going to get 25%. And then you're going to get some referral, you're going to get some farm club, decision maker right off the bat, all that. So I'd say that if you load up 800 emails per month, it's going to get you about 200 replies. You're going to get referral. You're going to get people to push you back later. And then the fun part is in 6 months, when you're going to start, for instance, you're going to, January 2020, you're going to have 15% to follow up with that told you to call back in January. So then you have less needs to do outreach because you have new clients, people refer you, you get new referral, you get new leads every month. So there's a book called Predictable Revenue by Aaron Ross. I think it's a classic one regarding cold email. It's been out for 4 or 5 years now. He built Salesforce with that and really explained it well. So you need to know your pace. For me, it's about 800 contact a month. And with that, I get as much leads as I want, like more than I need.
Awesome. And guys, I asked this, or girls, everyone, I asked this question specifically because people think they can send out 50 emails or do this for 30 minutes a week and then assume that they're going to get a bunch of leads. This doesn't work. I tell people in lead generation, at the end of the day, you're either spending time or you're spending money or a combination. Just figure out, what you want to do. And then don't also assume that you're going to do an hour or two and then just get results and stop or be able to rinse and repeat. You're going to have to invest time, one, learning about the best practices, implementing a campaign, optimizing a campaign, and then ultimately rinsing and repeating that and optimizing on a monthly basis. So make sure that you understand that goes for any marketing, not just inbound. But I want to let you know because Olivier, it took him months. Olivier, it took you what? Originally like 2 or 3 months before you started actually getting a flow of leads coming in?
Well, I was having a flow of leads, but because the sales process is much longer than an inbound lead or a referral, it took me 3 months to get a sell off a leads from email outreach. But then once you get one, you get a lot of them ready to pop. So it takes time. It's like cold call. When you reach out to someone, he doesn't have needs necessarily. He's not a buyer's right away. You have to plant a seed and follow up and either sell him the idea to rebuild his website, for instance, or you have to be there when he's ready to build his website in 6 months, in a year or 2 or 3 months. So it's just that you arrive anywhere in his buying cycle. When he goes on your website and fill up a form, he's ready to go. But when you're doing outbound marketing, all sort of outbound marketing, you arrive anywhere in his buying cycle.
Got it. And Olivier, that's one of the reasons, I tell our community with audits, one, you're able to deliver value up front, you're able to establish your expertise and show them versus just kind of telling them, which a lot of stuff does. If you can get them to that call or obviously send them a smaller version of your report. Mark asked a great question. I know you answered this earlier, and we use a combination of Sales Navigator and a few other tools for data enrichment. But if you could speak to the agencies as a whole, because obviously you run a web agency, digital marketing agency as well, how would you recommend if they wanted to get 800 leads a month? How do you recommend they go about doing that?
800 recipients, like 800 emails?
Yep.
Well, the most easiest way is using the tools I told earlier. So Get Prospects, Novio. You can use a mix of Find That Lead. With Find That Lead, if you have a list of companies, there is a feature there named Bulk. You start with company name, it's going to find you the domain name. Then you go in the CSV. You have to sometimes adapt some of them because they're not all right, but 80% of them are good. So once you have that, you put it in another bulk feature that give you names of people in the company and find their emails. So there's a lot of ways to build lists. You can also use a tool like what's the name of it? It's Mines something. It's a little Chrome extension, Datamine, I think, and it's gonna pick up every emails you find on a website and it build you a list. But then you need to find people's name, and it can be much work. But if your target is wide enough, just using the Get Prospect and Snovio and Sales Navigator, you're going to get a whole lot of emails. It's a good start.
Right. And so, guys, our process, so we use the same outreach process Olivier was talking about for My Web Audit, where we reach out to agency owners. We say, hey, I'm an agency owner. I created this app. I have some questions in the agency space. And that's when I speak to them about audits. And so I probably get, maybe 2 to 3 responses back every day, and that adds up to 15 or 20, then I can follow up with them and talk to them about their problem and our solution, right? So that's how we do it. Another strategy, this is not a number, like cold email is a numbers game, and it can become something you can project. But one of the other things that I do, which is separate in our agency, is I'm very targeted. So I always try to only target the top 10%, and I work on more personalized campaigns with them, because I know that if I get to close those deals, I'm looking at $25,000 to $50,000+. And so I spend my time when I am doing this. I use some automation here and there, but I do more personalized campaigns. So instead of sending 500 or 300 or 100 emails at a time, I might only send three to 5 emails a day, and make sure that those are to the right person with more personalization and adding value with the focused follow-up. And for me, that works again, because I'm not looking to generate dozens of leads and dozens of clients a month. Just the flip side.
You can start slow and see what works, and always A/B test stuff, and make your sequence better, your list building skills better. And anyway, at the first, when you have to warm up your domain, the first week you send about 10 emails a day, then the second week 20, and you ramp up like that till 100, or you can go at 250 when it's a very older domain, but you don't go day one and send 300 emails.
Yep. And to reiterate there, make sure you use a separate domain. So ours, for example, hirewiz.com, go with .co, .net, just find a different extension. Do not go with hi or admin or info. Run with your first name hat. And that's going to have the best results, because people will say, oh, I'm not getting spammed by a company. Someone actually reached out to me. So we have, Olivier, I don't see any other questions in here. Look, buddy, I'm so thankful. I'm sure everyone else here is thankful for your time and all the information. Guys, we'll be recording everything and putting it into our bonus resources section, the slide deck, as well as this presentation and any templates that Olivier shared. Again, Olivier, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can reach out through leadlion.co. There's a form. There's leadlion.co/MWA. My email, olambert@leadlion.co. You can find us on Facebook, even though we don't use it much, but you reach out to me through that easily. Pretty much it.
Awesome. And Olivier is in our Facebook group as well. So I will be posting something to thank him there. Feel free to connect from there. Again, Olivier, everyone else, thank you so much. I think we're going to be having Brent Weaver from You Gurus speaking about closing high value leads and deals at the end of next month. I'll be sharing more details on that later. Thanks again, Olivier. Everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.